60 years ago, the railways were changed forever. A man called Dr. Beeching wrote a report which led to 5,000 miles of tracks and hundreds of stations being torn up. This week, we're going to look at how that changed the landscape of southern England. Our transport correspondent, Paul Clifton, is here. And Paul, this was a transformation that really still resonates today.
Yes, it changed the geography of southern England. It changed not just how people travelled, but where they choose to live, how they live their lives. And that influence is still being felt now, for example, in where new housing is built. In fact, by the time Dr. Beeching wrote this report, some of the South Little used lines were already closing. He was merely accelerating a change that was already underway as cars and lorries replaced trains. The route between Alton and Fareham, for example, had closed in the 1950s. So, here's the region's rail network in 1963. Dr. Beeching recommended closing many of these routes. And here is what the map looked like a decade later. What's missing? Most obvious, the lines between Bournemouth and Bath, Salisbury and Poole, the line through Ringwood, Southampton to Andover and Swindon, the Didcot, Newbury and Southampton line, and the railway between Alton and Winchester, and the shortest branch line in the country, from Salisbury Station to the marketplace, just a quarter of a mile. But what if some of those lines had remained open? The Pines Express, hurrying holidaymakers from Manchester direct to Bournemouth. On summer Saturdays, the trains were packed. 2 locomotives, a double header, to haul the express over the Somerset and Dorset, the slow and dirty, on the long run from Bath, down through Blandford to the south coast.
That's my 10 happiest years of my life on this line.
Jeff Akers was a fireman on the footplate.
I love what I was doing. It's as simple as that.
Life, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it was worth coming to work and firing a steam engine and talking to all the lads down the depot. Yeah. The saying goes, if you could fire over the Dorset from Bath to Bournemouth, you could fire anywhere in England because of the hills and the curvatures.
A 1-mile section of the Somerset and Dorset has been rebuilt at Midsummer Norton.
This was a delightful railway, this was. Going to Bournemouth in the summer with one of the holiday trains.
As a 15-year-old, Malcolm Beecham worked on the railway as an engine cleaner.
The government of this country have made a real mistake. They shut it all up just for the motor car. And look at now, we can't move for motor cars. Everywhere you go, it's motor cars.
At Shillingstone in Dorset, the station has been lovingly restored by volunteers. A quarter of a mile of track relaid, grandly called the North Dorset Railway. The North Dorset Trailway is a 9-mile footpath following the track bed into the centre of Blandford. The station here closed in 1969. Today, it's a housing estate. Here's an express crossing the River Stour in Blandford. 60 years on, just one part of the bridge remains, a monument to the lost route to the seaside. Bournemouth West Station was the end of the line for the Pines Express, busy and bustling. Unlike today, the station is a car park. The only trace left, the station hotel, now a block of flats. Instead of trains, cars. The Wessex Way follows the track bed.
Oh, sad, forgotten S&D.
In the early 60s, the poet Sir John Betjeman travelled the line through Evercreech, a testimony to a way of life now lost forever.
Railways are bound to be used again. They're not a thing of the past, and it's heartbreaking to see them left to rot. When we all of us know that road traffic is becoming increasingly hellish on this overcrowded island, and that in 10 years from now there'll be 3 times as much traffic on English roads as there is today. How will we get anywhere in summer, except by railway? I think it's more than likely that we'll deeply regret the branch lines we've torn up and the lines that we've let to go to rot.
The poet Sir John Betjeman with a remarkably accurate prediction ending that report. Tomorrow, Paul will look at two former rail routes linking the south coast with the Midlands, one via Andover, the other through Newbury.